Welcome to the System Simplified podcast, where we feature top leaders who share stories on how to successfully systemize a business. Now, let's get started with the show.
Hello, Adi Klevit here, the host of the System Simplified podcast, where I feature top founders, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders about systematizing a business. And today's episode is being brought to you by Business Success Consulting Group, where we create, document, optimize, and implement processes and procedures so businesses can grow and thrive. And today's guests, yes, two, you get two for the price of one, is Nadine and Derek Nicholson. Hi, guys.
Hi. Thanks for having us.
Yes, you're very welcome. So Nadine, you and I met at a very special trip. We went to Colorado with NABO, the National Association of Women Business Owners. We had a great trip that was put together by Linda Bishop. So a big shout out to Linda. And she's a great leader, and she's heads a group within NABO, and she got all of us to go to Colorado and climb a mountain. And it was 12,400 or 500 feet, and it was amazing. And you and I walked together throughout that journey, and it was a great experience. And by the way, I interviewed Knight Campbell, who is the person that has the organization that organized the whole thing.
Yeah.
So definitely a big shout out to Knight as well. And I'm going to put the show notes, the show link in the show notes here so people can see that episode. It was a very fun episode to record and hear about his journey. So, but now we're going to talk about you two. So I'm going to start with a short bio, and then you're going to talk. I would like you to add to it, and we'll get into the conversation.
Sounds great.
So, yeah. So Nadine and Derek, you guide powerhouse founders and CEOs out of the middle zone of overwork, time guilt, and decision fatigue while climbing to never before seen levels of success. Now, this is not being done inside the office. This is not you lecturing them. We're going to talk about it. This is actually very adventurous and very unique. So through your proprietary impossible freedom equation, you provide a proven path to achieving both next level business growth and personal freedom now, not someday. So you work with them to achieve that freedom now. And we know that that's what entrepreneurs want. I mean, if you look at my website, the word freedom is everywhere there because we ask founders, we ask them, what is it that you like the most about being a business owner? And they said, freedom. What do you want to achieve? Freedom. I mean, that's what we want as entrepreneurs. So you are spot on, and you help them achieve that. Yes. So let's start. I mean, why don't we introduce each one of you separately, because you obviously have your own bio and your own stories. So let's start with you, Nadine. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Then we'll go to Derek, and then we'll talk about the impossible freedom equation and how you help entrepreneurs.
Sure. Yeah. I'm Nadine Nicholson. I call myself the time architect here at Ascend Leadership, also Chief Possibility Officer. I have two careers, essentially. My first career was as a corporate communications manager in very large companies, up to 20,000 employees. I was really a key advisor for senior executives, really for the whole first half of my career. And then when we had our son in 2008, shortly after that, I actually started my own coaching business as an executive leadership coach for entrepreneurs. And I started it part-time and built it over time as our son grew up, and he's now almost 18. And Derek joined me in 2018. And really, I am a master certified coach with the International Coach Federation, which is the highest level of achievement as a coach. I also am a certified hiking guide. I'm doing my certification as a forest therapy guide. So I do a lot of my coaching of entrepreneurs outside, also through like Zoom and helping them find the outside nature within themselves. and really access their inner wisdom. So that's a real like little bit about me, and give Derek a chance
Yeah,
to
let's
share
go.
more about
That
him
was
too.
beautiful, Nadine, by the way. And you definitely have, from when I got to know you, you have that ability to relate to nature and see in nature the parallel between actions and activities and who we are and how it relates to nature, which is just beautiful. And being able to go outside and experience that is so powerful that with your guidance, it just makes it even more powerful.
Thank you.
Yeah. Derek, hello.
Hi. Hi.
So
Thank you
tell us
for
about
having me.
yourself.
So I'm Nadine's secretary. I get to do all the admin work here at the um,
Pass. That's it, Nadine. Keeper. Okay, good.
Let's be honest, administration is not as
not
strong
my
suit.
strong suit at all, actually. So that is not something I would ever want to do. So I've had a career in mostly healthcare and oil and gas, managing complex operations, doing sales, as well as doing some leadership coaching and organizational effectiveness work as well in oil and gas primarily, and a little bit in healthcare too. So when Nadine signed up to first start her coach training, she came home that day and she was really excited to give me this news that she was going to make a career change eventually, and she signed up to start her training to become a coach. And she informed me that she signed me up too. So I was going to be a coach too. So and it was great because at the time I was managing a very complex operation in healthcare with 110 direct staff across 3 different collective agreements or unions, 5 different scopes of practice for the health practitioners that I was managing. So being able to actually go through the coach training and bring a coaching approach into my work there was invaluable. And it helped me through the rest of my career. And it was from there then that as I finished my coach training, I became a leadership coach, and I was working in oil and gas with some complex operations there. Um, at one point, I had decided to take a sabbatical. I had been working since I was 17 years old with just vacation time off, and my son was growing up quite quickly, and I decided that I was going to take some time off. I experienced some loss in my life. Both my parents had just passed away within 7 months of each other. And, not someday now, like we talked about. There's going to be no more someday. So now is the time. So I decided to take some time off, coach youth, volunteer at the school a lot, got to run a few programs in the phys ed program at the school, and walk my son to and from school every single day. And it was an amazing experience for me.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we like to bring to our clients is the idea of not someday now, because things will happen in our lives that change our perspective. And we tell people sometimes, if you haven't had one of those things happen in your life yet, then borrow ours instead of waiting
Yes.
for yours. And let's do something sooner rather than later if you're looking to make
That
some.
is so true. It's not someday now, because it does. Then things just get in the way and happen. So you took the time off and then you never went back to the other job, right?
Yeah, exactly. When it was time to go back to work, I had a couple of opportunities. I was looking to start in a company with a friend of mine, and Nadine came up to me and she said, "Why would you dedicate your time, energy, and resources to someone else's company instead of ours?" And I never really thought of Nadine's company as ours, and so that was the day we joined forces and never looked back. The feedback we get from our clients is that it's so amazing to have both of us, because we offer different perspectives, different ways of thinking. Nadine's the chief possibility officer. I'm the chief simplicity officer. So she can create the vision, and then I actually simplify it so that we don't get off track and overcomplicate things. So it works really well for us.
That's beautiful. Just beautiful. So tell me about the role that nature plays in your coaching. We touched upon it, I mentioned it, but what role does it play in your coaching?
Yeah, nature is like the fuel, the glue,
Foundational
the
as well.
foundation, the wisdom. So we believe that like our focus is about helping an entrepreneur, founder, CEO, owner of a company come back to their true nature and really be able to take back their time, their energy, and their joy and des- design their time and their team so that they're able to achieve what we call impossible freedom. So you know how you were sharing earlier about that entrepreneurs, it's all about freedom. We all want freedom. That's true, right? And the freedom that entrepreneurs want, entrepreneurs think is impossible. And we would call that freedom the idea of living in a way where you feel lit up and alive. In other words, you're not exhausted, you're not burned out, you're not depleted, you're not sacrificing your personal life, right?
Not feeling trapped by your business.
Yeah. So the entrepreneurs that we work with, when we start working with them, they really feel like they're having to sacrifice
Pretty much everything.
and compromise the things that matter the most to them: their family, their relationships, their health, their dreams, these things. And so what we do, and I'll connect it to nature, your question, is we help our clients achieve what we have coined to be impossible freedom. And we believe it's very possible. And the definition of impossible freedom is living a lit up life, like feeling lit up and alive, and driving more financial growth in your business. In other words, these work in harmony with each other.
Yeah.
Most entrepreneurs think that they have to sacrifice their life for their business or their business for their life. So what we do is we create the harmony so that the increase in the person's aliveness and fulfillment and joy actually drives more revenue in their company.
It's true. It is very true. And it's sometimes hard to explain that, but if you really look at it from the outside in, if you have somebody there sitting there all grumpy and upset and stressed out, how can you even create anything? It just doesn't work.
Well, in that case, what the person is creating is they're creating frustration, grumpiness, and,
Mhm.
stagnation.
Right.
And what they're also doing is, it's not like they're waking up every day with the intention of trying to do that. They're stuck in that middle zone where they think that it's all there is, that they have to do it that way, that they're obligated to do it that way.
Or that they think that they can change it when they get the financial.
One day
when
Yeah, because they're depending.
better.
That's so true. They feel like they have to depend on something as opposed to just do it, right? Like now.
Yes, they don't know how to do it, you see?
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
a person is in the middle zone, stuck in that middle zone of success, they want something more. They want closer relationships. They want to feel better about their health. They don't want to feel exhausted and depleted all the time. Who wants that? But they don't know how to change it. And so this is where nature comes in. So to tie back to your question, what we do is we grow 5 core leadership skills in an entrepreneur and a founder. One of them is what we call wild wisdom. Wild wisdom is your is actually connecting to your inner wisdom, your inner knowing. And we believe the shortcut to getting there is by being in nature. So getting yourself outside, out of the limitations of 4 walls, getting yourself into spaciousness, into possibility, into free, fresh air and blue sky and away from technology is actually the shortcut to getting out of the middle zone and achieving impossible freedom.
Absolutely. So what are the other 4 core values that you go over with the leaders?
Okay, well,
Maybe you do one and you do one. How's that?
Yes. What we have is the impossible freedom equation, which is our methodology, has 2 leadership pillars and followed by and supported by 3 leadership amplifiers. So I'll speak to one of the 2 pillars, which is time mastery, which is what I lead, and Derek leads United Team Building. Time mastery it's a lot of people think of time mastery as time management. I got to get more done in less time. We raise it up and elevate it a significantly bigger level. time mastery is about mastering your time, mastering your energy. It's about having your actions be aligned with your values, being in integrity by designing your time in a way that is aligned with what is most important to you. It's about time design and architecture. And over to you.
Well, our other pillar is the piece that needs to go with that to make time work. And it's really about leadership and team. So we can't, until we look at our team and how we're supported, sometimes it's hard to make shifts in our time. So we need to actually find that support. And it doesn't mean hiring a bunch of people. When we talk about team, it's something completely different. What we're talking about is who exists out there that supports me in my business in any way possible. It could be your husband, any spouse, kids, family member, good colleague, friend, another consultant. It could be your accountant. It could be people that you're paying for something else, but you don't have to bring them onto your company. It could be direct people who work for your company. And how do we actually leverage that resource that you're paying for to the maximum potential possible to benefit the company? Because often people are hired into a job description, but we're not actually really maximizing what their total human capabilities are towards the organization. So we really look at team as being that other pillar and how we can really use that to create what we want to create that will allow more freedom.
That's beautiful.
So those are the two
Definitely two
leadership
pillars
pillars.
that are very important and go well together. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have the pillars. So now from there, we
Now we
go
have
into
the amplifiers, the three
the
amplifiers.
amplifiers. Okay, so Nadine,
So
I'll let you start.
yeah, so once we have assessed, help a person assess their time. And remind me, because I want to give you a statistic before we complete this interview today about assessing their time. Once we've done that, and then we've helped them design their time to be aligned and true to what they actually want, then we move into the team assessment and design. And while we do them separately, they're interconnected. Right? We do time first, then team, and they are interconnected and very correlated. Then we move into the three leadership amplifiers. So we've designed their time, we've designed their team so that they can achieve impossible freedom. Now, in order to achieve impossible freedom, it requires one decision at a time, one action and one decision at a time. So these leadership amplifiers are a decision-making process. They are 3 steps of a decision-making process that allows that person to make one decision at a time that moves them from the middle zone to impossible freedom.
Mm-hmm.
These 3 amplifiers are number 1, wild wisdom.
Okay.
So being able to connect to and see their inner knowing, their inner clarity by being in nature as a shortcut. Number 2 is courageous conversation, or sorry, brave decisions. Brave decisions is number 2. So then making brave decisions in relation to the clarity that they got in wild wisdom. And number 3 is courageous conversations, having courageously communicating, which comes back to my communications background, communicating the clarity they got from their wild wisdom and the decisions that they made through that, and courageously communicating that to their the people who are on their united team.
Yeah. So
That's
what
beautiful.
this could look like in real practice is there could be a client that you're hanging on to that you think I have to because I need that income or that revenue. And it's just creating a lot of stress in your business, stress in yourself, etc. So it's really getting in touch with, is this client right for me? Wild wisdom. Is this really benefiting my business, or is it holding me back? What is the right thing to do? And finding that wisdom inside yourself, and then actually having the courage to make that decision to say, no, this client isn't right for me. And I could wait until the end of the contract, or I could say, I'm sorry, we're done working together. And
Yeah, I was
making
going to
that,
ask you for some decisions on the brave decision. I mean, some examples for the brave
yeah,
decisions, but that's an example. That's a great example because you can go outside, you can get separated from the day to day and really see that that relationship with this client is draining you, or that, we all done that. We've taken on clients where we realize that we're actually not helping them because they don't let us help them, right? So
exactly.
that's a brave decision. And then you have to have that courageous conversation of, Mr. or Miss Client, we're not doing each other any good. We're not helping each other. So,
Yeah.
or I guess you can have that courageous conversation with also an employee that you might decide that that's not a very good decision to be part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Or maybe it's an employee that just really needs some stronger leadership to develop into
Yeah.
the role that they're in, versus and actually taking that and having that conversation and working with that person versus just kind of letting it go and get so bad that then you have to have that other type of conversation, which is the one where you let them go. So
That's right. But it's both of them. It's like you have to use that brave decision and courageous conversation, but that will lead you towards, I can see totally it can lead you toward the freedom of having that freedom where it's joyous. You can enjoy what you are doing, and it doesn't have to be like this suffering or this, the zone where you're not going to be. That is pretty incredible. Nadine, you were mentioning a statistic you wanted to mention.
Yeah. So when we first start working with a client, we're helping them get crystal clear on what their vision is for impossible freedom. What is the actual outcome? Because what it looks like to one person may be very different than what it looks like for another person, right? One of our clients just set their vision of impossible freedom, and that's moving to a 20-hour work week with like a maximum of 6 hours a day. That's her version of impossible freedom, and tying in some very specific personal things outside of work hours. So once we help someone get very clear about their definition, then we actually guide them to do an assessment of their time. And we can see so clearly, the three of us, Derek, myself, and our client, quantitatively how much time and energy is actually in what we call their natural genius. Their natural genius is what they're most passionate about. It is what makes them feel lit up and alive, both personally and professionally, both in their business and outside their business. It is what they are just so passionate about. Like it gives them so much joy and so much motivation and just lights them up, makes them feel alive. And it is actually when they have dedicated time to do those things and that time isn't eaten away, it drives more revenue in their business. So the statistic is that there are 4 quadrants that we evaluate. One is natural genius, and then there's 3 others. Natural genius is clear. It's like when you're in your natural genius, you're lit up. Right now in this moment, I'm lit up, or I'm in my natural genius, right? I'm like alive. The other 3 quadrants are either meh, they're neutral energy, or they're drains and stressful energy. The statistic is time and time again, we have done hundreds of these assessments. We see that when we first work with someone, they have 20% of their time and energy is in their natural genius and 80% is outside of it. We actually just had a person who is 10% in their natural genius when we first started working with them.
That's miserable. Yeah.
it really is.
No wonder. He's running a $50 million company, okay? 10% of his time and energy is in his natural genius. So what we do through our coaching is we flip it. We get them a minimum of 80% of their time and energy in their natural genius of what they're best at, what lights them up, what makes them feel alive, which naturally drives more revenue in their company and naturally creates more healthy outcomes overall, like better relationships, better health, all the things, and the achievement of impossible freedom.
Absolutely. And I can totally relate to it. I mean, that's what we do is because what we do is we transfer that knowledge that they have and they keep in their heads and ties them into that area that really should go to someone else so they can live in their genius areas. So that I can totally relate to it, and I can see how needed is that realization and that idea. I mean, the entrepreneurs have to understand that they should live in their genius zone, because otherwise it's not fun, and we don't want to have it. It's not fun.
Yeah.
And you can get freedom. So why, you then you ask yourself, what's the purpose of even having a business if I'm not really enjoying it and I'm just going through the motions, but really not having the freedom and the fun that I could have? So
Well,
absolutely.
really, yeah. What's the purpose of having a business? What's the purpose of like having a life? I mean,
I
we
know.
get one chance at this, and none of us know when that is going to shift for us, when that's going to change, right?
That's
So
exactly right.
I really want to get across in this interview and for everybody listening, this isn't a luxury. What we're telling you is not a luxury. We're talking about your life here. We're talking about you actually, it's not a luxury to be lit up and alive. It's not a luxury to be alive while you're living. This is what you have a right, you deserve, your life is so valuable. You can't put a price tag on it. And you can actually have freedom to be able to be inspired and lit up and like do what you love to do personally and professionally and make more money at the same time. Why wouldn't you want that? So that's what I really want to get across is it's like this isn't a nice to have. We're talking about your life here.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. And that is a must. It's not a luxury. Wow. Nadine, Derek, that's been a great conversation. You guys are amazing at what you do. And I can see the passion in it. I can see that you are dedicated and you are doing it from a sense of purpose and a sense of wanting to help others and really make life better. And that is very admirable. So I appreciate both of you being on this podcast and having this conversation. So if our listeners would like to reach out to you, how can they do that?
Well, on our website, we have a really easy to access quiz that we'd encourage you to take. The website address is ascendleadership.com, ASCEND leadership.com/quiz. What is that quiz going to give you? Takes you 5 minutes to do. It's going to help you. You are going to get clarity on where you are in relation to 3 time leaks and 3 team leaks. So it's very quantitative. And then that will give you a result. There are basically 3 levels of the middle zone. Okay, there's 3 different levels. The result you will get will tell you what level you are at, what middle zone type you are at. And then it will follow up by telling you exactly what to do about that.
Yeah, you get some tips.
And then if you feel like you resonate with, us, our passion, what we stand for and what we're teaching, then by all means, please right
on the website, there's a button that says connect and you can easily connect with us.
We'd have a coffee date, a virtual coffee date, and get to know each other better.
And it's us. It's not someone who works for us. It's us.
Amazing. Can you imagine, listeners, viewers? You actually get to meet with Nadine and Derek and have a virtual coffee date with them. I think you should absolutely do that. And Derek and Nadine, thank you so much for being guests on this podcast.
Thank you, Nadine.
Thank you so much for having us. Thanks so everybody for listening. We hope that you got something of value from today. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the System Simplified podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.